lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring, or fall. Your home in the Rockies has it all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee's brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Sunday edition of Good Morning Vail on TV8. I am your host, Liz, ready to give you a bunch of examples of what fun we can have here for your Labor Day weekend. It's already September. You can feel the smell in the air, maybe see a couple of leaves dropping already, maybe a couple of changes, but not ready yet for those flowers to go away, so we can still enjoy the outdoors and the great weather for this weekend and go enjoy everything. Walk along the river, take a bike ride, and just have a great time. So many wonderful things. Yesterday was the final Minturn market. I hope you got the chance to get out there to wonderful town of Minturn with the music on both ends and all of the great artisans' work that you got to see. If you missed it, it's okay. They will be back next year. And of course, we still have the Vail Farmers Market going on for a few more weekends. It's a great place to go. You can get your fruit and vegetables before they all end for the season. And of course, check out all the beautiful work that all the artists do. And I like to people watch there and pooch watch. It's a great time over in Vail Village for the Vail Farmers Market. And of course, the duck races this weekend are going to be exceptionally fun. I got to host last year and I had the time of my life. All those yellow duckies coming in. And the most fun is watching at the end when everybody gets so excited over yellow ducks. But it's a great cause. You can win so many amazing prizes. And it really goes to our community. So it's well worth all of the fun. And then if you want to head on over to Beaver Creek, we have Oktoberfest going on, helmet fricker, lots of great music, stein lifting contest, great beer and great libations, and a lot of fun. You can go see all your friends over at Beaver Creek to enjoy Oktoberfest. So many great things going on. And don't forget, Gourmet on the Gore. You like to eat? Go check that out as well. So many amazing things happening. This weekend, it's the end of summer almost, the beginning of fall, but boy, we can feel it, we can smell it, and we can enjoy it because we have so many great things going on here in our beautiful town. We're gonna take a look at the weather right now. Let's see what's going on for our beautiful days and nights.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring or fall. You're home in the Rockies that has it all, y'all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee is brewing and you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to your Sunday edition on Good Morning Vail on TV8. I am Liz. Have you ever been fly fishing? I tried it once in Ojai, California. I had the time of my life, but I wasn't geared up and properly ready to do so. Maddie had the opportunity to go get geared up with Mark Sassy and learn a few cool tricks for fly fishing. Let's take a look and see how much fun they had.
Hey everybody, Mark Sassy here. I hosted TV8. I also run Minturn Anglers. I got Maddie Evans. Y'all know her from TV8. We get to work together really one day a week. It's not enough, but whenever I'm in there, Maddie and I always tend to, we kind of get drawn to fly fishing. I give a fly fishing report. We talk about what's happening on the rivers. And I feel like, I mean, you can pipe in, but you've learned a fair amount.
Hopper droppers, keep them wet, make sure the river temperatures are appropriate so you're not killing fish left and right. Water levels, cubic feet, basketballs in the river. I got it. Let's do this.
Yeah, okay, you're good. So she has the basic understanding, but she wants to go fishing, and really what we want to do is educate everybody today on soup to nuts what it takes to go out on a fly fishing trip. Whether you're a beginner or you know how to fish, there's a lot of things you have to take into account. So for starters, we get suited up in waders and boots. So Maddie's gonna drift on back here. She's gonna try on her waders and boots. And once we get these on and we're sure that they fit all right, we're gonna take it to the river. And things you have to take into account when you're going fly fishing, as opposed to kind of traditional fishing where you just use a spinning rod and a lure, you have to think about where you're gonna fish in the river, because our fish with flies only hang out in certain areas. What flies to use, make sure you're using the proper knots, and also you make sure you're using the right rod and you're casting it the right way. So not just about Maddie trying to look good and trying to stay dry, but there's a lot more that goes into it. But this is step one. Middle of the summer.
How are we doing on these waders?
I think you're pretty good. How do they, I mean, they're not bad.
All right, cool.
They're not bad.
All right.
So in the middle of the summer, you don't necessarily need to wear waders because the water temperatures, like we've talked about, Maddie, are warm, right?
Right.
And the water levels are low. So you could actually wet wade where you would wear a pair of sandals or those wading boots and no waders. But in the colder months or when the water levels are up or colder, it's good to be able to wear waders to protect yourself. But I think to fit the part, instead of seeing Maddie splashing around in her little Daisy Dukes, we're putting her in waders today to make it right, start to finish. And we're doing good. How are those doing? Good?
Great.
She's wearing Reddington waders. These are Corker's wading boots with a BOA system, which is that quick lacing system with a speed dial. Pretty handy. And she's waterproof all the way from her chest all the way down to her toes, as long as there's no leaks in those waders. But you're good to go. They got a pocket here. There's a pocket on the inside, waterproof if you want to bring your cell phone. But most people don't bring very much with them except maybe a cell phone and some sunscreen.
Right.
The guides are going to have, you say right like you know.
I don't know. I just
You don't
think,
need to
like,
bring much. We get people that show up here at the shop and they take their wallet out and they have their car keys and their tablet and their pager and all this other stuff that when you're in the river, it's about disconnecting with everything so you can reconnect with the natural surroundings that we have.
You know people that are still using pagers?
Maybe. I can't tell anybody that though.
Okay, well,
Burner phones, whatever it is.
whatever it is.
You don't need much except for, and also the guides also will airdrop or send your photos. You don't need to bring a phone if you don't want to. Disconnect to
That's
reconnect
simple.
is what it's all about. You got that?
Yeah, that's simple. I love to disconnect.
Sunscreen, a normal hat to protect your eyes and your face from the sun and also from flies flying around, and also a good pair of sunglasses.
Perfect.
Okay, preferably polarized, so you can actually see more into the water, so you may be able to see the targets that you're actually fishing at.
I think that now we've done this, I'm suited up. I think you should get
So let's
suited
pick her up and throw her in the river. Let's see if she stays dry. Okay, I'll get suited
Okay.
up.
All right, you get suited up, and then I think we should make our way down to the river so you can teach me so much more about fly fishing.
We're gonna go through all the basics. Why we have these bugs, why do I have to cast the rod that way, and show me a knot. But we'll go through it all. This is Fly Fishing with TV8. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to the show. Now that Maddie is all geared up, she's going to take a nice sit down with Mark to learn a lot of the cool tricks of the trade of fly fishing. Okay, she's going to be learning how to tie these little knots. You think that's easy? That is not easy, especially if you don't have little hands. You got to make sure you get those knots down. And she's going to learn about the flies. They're not real flies, people. They're actually created for the use for fly fishing. So we're going to go take a look, and she's going to be in her wader. She's going to be learning how to do some really cool knot tying, and of course learning about all the flies. This is a very detailed operation. It's not as simple as you think. It's not just a regular fishing trip. This is fly fishing, everybody. Let's take a look at Maddie with Mark to see all the tricks of the trade that she's about to learn.
Welcome back to a new sort of nice little segment called Fly Fishing with Maddie. That's not what it's officially called, but I think that's the direction it's heading. Trying to fly fish with Maddie. Anyway, so you got your gear. You're good on the waders and boots, right?
Good.
Now, so the next step of it, and this is a piece that really, for most people that go on a fishing trip, this is kind of the understood that they don't worry about. The guides take care of all of it, okay? They're gonna tie your knots. They're gonna select your flies for you. You don't need to do any of that. But there's also people that go on these fishing trips that want to treat it more like a school.
Yeah.
So they want to know how to tie that knot and what flies to use and why do you select those flies. So I think it's kind of, if people are watching for the first time and they're trying to decide if the fishing thing is for them or not, this will help kind of open up those questions for yourselves and say, do I want to learn more about this, or do I want to have the guide just do it for me? So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to show you the bugs. We're going to tie a knot and go from there. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that there's a lot of pretty things going on right here.
Isn't there? Isn't it wild?
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Some bug mimics going on here.
Bug mimics.
Yeah.
Imitators.
Yeah, and I'm just ready to learn some loop, swoop, and polling.
Loop, swoop, and polling. So, we've talked about this before, I think you and I have. All the bugs, well, 99% of the bugs that the fish eat all come from the bottom of the river. So all these start as a tiny little larva, like a let's just say like a butterfly larva, okay? Little larva, then they make a cocoon around their bodies in the rocks in the river. And then over the course of 365 days, they gestate and they get bigger. And then when they're ready to become a fuzzy fly, which is an adult version, they will climb out of their cocoon, they'll float to the surface of the river, and then they'll sit on top of the water for a little bit of time as they dry their wings off. Then they'll go off and fly around. They'll look for their mate, they'll reproduce. The male will return to the river and die. The female will return to the river, lay her eggs, and then she'll return to the river and die. And they're really out of the rocks as an adult for about 24 hours, and then that's it. So their life cycle is really weird. It's just a short-lived life when they're out. They're in the rocks for most of their lives. So we have bugs that imitate the larva, we have bugs that imitate the bugs that emerge, and we have bugs that imitate the ones that sit on top that are dry flies.
So you have the whole life cycle of the bug here.
Yeah.
Which makes it nice and convenient. That way when you want to fish, you know what you're using.
Well, yeah, you just pay attention to what's happening on the river at certain times of the year.
Bug expert.
You read the fishing reports. You just kind of, you earn this knowledge and you gain it over time. Right now, this time of the year with the water temperatures being warm and low, we're seeing a lot of the surface bugs, a lot of the dry flies, the adults.
Right.
So if you're riding your bike around Vail or you're going for a hike up on a mountain in Beaver Creek and there's little bugs everywhere, chances are if you're near water, they're not mosquitoes or house flies or horse flies. They're either going to be caddis flies, mayflies, or stone flies. And they don't bite, they just fly around and get in your hair and get in your eyes.
And annoy you.
Yeah.
Their job is to annoy you.
They pretty much are, kind of like what you do with me. Same idea.
All right, let's learn how to tie
All right,
some knots.
so with that being said, this time of the year, like we talked about it before, we're starting to see the terrestrial bugs, which are going to be your ants. And what else is another bug that comes from the land that ends up in the water by accident? They're big, they fly around, they hop around. How about that? They hop around.
Maybe a grasshopper.
So grasshoppers now leading into the cooler months towards the end of the summer and the fall. There's a lot of grasshoppers until we see one or two frosts, and then the grasshoppers will go off and die. But until then, grasshopper fishing, let's grab one of these. And there's a bunch of different grasshoppers. See the big thighs on these guys?
Yeah.
Size and color are the most common two factors when you're picking any bugs, but with a grasshopper, it floats, it's made of foam, it's going to sit on top of the water. And the fish love these because it's a big morsel of food compared to something that size, right?
Right.
So this gives them a lot of energy.
What if you catch like a live grasshopper and you put it on the hook? Does that work?
I mean, you might be able to do it, but probably since they're delicate, it might,
Just shatter?
you cast it out and it might break off,
Got it.
But they would probably come up and eat it. And then off of this, you would tie some material and you'd have a second little bug down low, floating down in the water column deeper. Hopper, dropper.
Wow. I knew the name. I never knew the science behind the name. And now I've learned the actual reason for the hopper dropper.
Yeah, and I think right now, the fishing that will do the best, would be most productive, would be a hopper.
Okay.
Hoppers also will substitute for basically a bobber for fly fishing, which is called a strike indicator. And a strike indicator, I didn't bring one, but it's a small round ball that you tie onto your fly line in case you're fishing down in the rocks with your flies that sink, then you'll know if a fish eats it. But when you're fishing with a hopper, this can actually double as a strike indicator because you're going to have another fly tied down here. And if they eat this one will go under. So it acts like a bobber too, right?
That's nice and
Yep.
convenient.
Yeah, it is.
Less things that you need.
You're
the more
killing,
you know.
yeah, exactly. And they do come up and eat these right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up fishing with a hopper and maybe a small dropper. But I want to tie a knot with you first, okay?
All right.
Just to show you basic knots. So
Cool.
there's a couple knots that we use to tie all of our gear together. When you're tying the fly on, whether it's a hopper or any of these other flies, and this is going to be
The fly.
the fly, right?
Okay.
So then that's going to be where you tie the line
All right.
on, right?
This is the line.
And this is going to be the line. This is the perfect size for you, okay?
It
So you
is.
can see it, we can work down, because she said doesn't have a lot of dexterity in those small little giraffe hands of hers.
My dainty fingers, they're just not the best for these tiny
So you're going to
little
practice. I'm
stuff.
going to show you what we do.
Okay.
So you put it through, okay? Then you're going to take the little tag end. This is obviously attached to your rod, so you can't
Right.
do anything with that, right? You're going to wrap it around, they say 5 times, okay? But we'll just do it a couple times, 2 or 3 times to get the effect.
Okay.
5 times, then you put it back through the hole that you started, right?
Okay.
You want to wet it down with some spit or some water from the river, okay? And then you're going to slide it right up against the eye of the hook.
Wow. Okay.
And then you trim this piece off, not too close. This is called a clinch knot. There's another way to make it a little more stable. It's called the improved clinch knot, but that's the basic knot that we use.
Okay.
You going on a guided trip, unless you want to learn how to do it, you're never going to have to do that with any guide service anywhere. They do it all for you, okay?
But I think part of the thing about doing the guide service, and maybe for some, is that they get to learn, so they can take themselves out and do this later, and so learn the skills.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? If you have people that just come out here once a year and they live in the city and they don't get a chance to do this very often, they're not going to probably do it at home. But people that maybe live here, that are interested in it, that want to embrace the outdoors a little bit more. Okay.
1, 2,
So far, so good.
3.
3.
I did 3 like you.
No, wait, where did you? Okay, you're good there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine's not as pretty, but it works.
Okay, so let's just say that's your clinch knot, okay? Now, we're going to,
Oh, do it in
we're
real
going to do
life?
it on a little more scale, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to show you the basics on how to do this too, okay? We're going to take a bigger fly because it has a bigger hole on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put it through the hole, right?
Right.
Like we did on that one. And then we're going to hold the fly. See how I'm stabilizing it right here? Wrap it around. Once again, I'm just going to do it 3 times. So you see how I keep this taut in my hand though? It makes it easier to wrap it around, right? Then I
Right.
just grab and pass my fingers around. And then I'm going to pass it through wherever that hole is there, right in through the first hole that I made. There it is. There.
Made like
Okay.
a microscope to be
And then
able
you
to
wet
do
it down, you slide it up, and then you trim that off, okay?
Okay.
Clinch knot. There's a lot of different knots you can use, but this is probably one of the most common, okay? You want to see if she can do it? Here you go. It doesn't have to be pretty.
Well, it's not going to be pretty.
But here's the deal, like while you're doing that, I'm going to let people know, like the knots are part of the four quarters of fly fishing, I like to call it. You have the first quarter, which is casting the rod the right way. The second piece is selecting the right bugs. The third piece is fishing in the right spot. And the fourth piece is making sure that you're using the right knots and that they're seated and that they hold, because you could have 3/4 of everything working, but if a fish comes up and bites your fly and you lose it because the knot didn't hold, then even though you had the right fly in the right spot, casting it the right way, this has to work for you too, or you're SOL basically. Got it?
Yeah, I almost got the hook in my hand, but I did it.
Okay, you did do it.
I
Okay,
did it.
So that's a clinch knot, okay?
Got it. All right, so now that we've gone through the flies, we've learned some knots.
I'll
do you
tell
say
you
we
what,
get in the water?
we'll go, I'll go grab a fishing rod and
Okay.
we'll maybe just talk about some of the basics.
Okay.
I think what's gonna happen is though, we probably won't like legitimately fish in this area, because it does get it gets a lot of pressure from kids and dogs and rocks and everything.
Right. We're
So
just gonna
I think
learn.
we'll go do the basics on the cast and a few things you can work on, and then probably for the next segment we'll actually go to another part of the Eagle River where we know there's fish, where we can catch fish. Okay, so we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Liz in the studio here at TV8. That was so much fun watching Maddie learn so many cool tricks. She got the knots down, definitely, and I think she knows how to put those flies on. Tomorrow is Labor Day, and guess what we get to be privy to? Maddie on the water, and she's going to get in there and get her game on, and she's going to catch some fish, and we're going to count and see how many she can get with all her new skills that she learned. We'll be right back after this commercial break on TV8.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring or fall, you're home in the rocket that has it all, y'all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee is brewing and you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Hi, I'm Carrie Thorne, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the Eagle Valley Library District. School is out for the summer, but it's still important to keep our children reading, and that means finding books at the right reading level. For many caregivers, finding books for an emerging reader who's making the leap from beginning reader to early chapter book is the hardest. For these readers, look for books with short chapters, engaging artwork, lively characters, lots of white space, and a large font. All are elements in helping newly independent readers gain confidence. Here on display are some of my favorite early chapter books, like these two new series about friendship, Cornbread and Poppy by Matthew Cordell and Sydney and Taylor by Jacqueline Davies. So stop by one of your local public libraries this summer and we'll help you find the just right book at the just right reading level for your child.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
You're in the studio with me, Liz, right here at TV8 for your Sunday edition of Good Morning Vail. There is an amazing organization that we have here in our county, Roundup River Ranch. You would not believe the most amazing things that they do for kids with illnesses. They are a beautiful nonprofit organization. They do so much for our community, and I'm really excited to see this interview that Maddie had with them during the week. Let's take a look and see about all the amazing, wonderful things that this altruistic organization does for our community.
We've got so many great nonprofits here in our community, and one of my personal favorites that I always love to participate in any of their activities in any way I can is Roundup River Ranch. And we've got Kathy Ethington joining us on the couch to talk about some of their great success that they've had in recent fundraising days. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
You guys, of course, well, we love Roundup River Ranch, and you guys just had an incredible success with your Grateful Harvest dinner. And so let's talk about some of the sponsors that helped bring this together, but let's also talk about how the community rallied for you guys.
So this is the first time we've had the event at camp since 2019, and we were so excited to bring it back. It's a wonderful event with this community, and we successfully raised $1.4 million, which is a quarter of our annual operating budget. So it's such an important event in that respect. And I am so glad you brought up the sponsors, because I actually want to acknowledge all the sponsors that helped us reach this goal. The individual table sponsors, amazing.
Right.
The local community business sponsors, we really want to thank Alpine Bank, First Western Trust, Vail Summit Orthopedics, Blue Sky Restoration, Cordillera Cares, Children's Hospital Colorado Foundation, Shepherd Resources, I'm not going to forget anybody, Vail Health, Peak One Express, and a special thank you to Chef Riley Romanen, who provided the food and his expertise for an amazing evening of cuisine and wines.
I mean, we've got pictures up on the screen and it looks like it was absolutely a ton of fun. You guys have such a beautiful space up there and it is so tucked away in just like a safe haven. And that's really the goal of Roundup River Ranch, is to become this safe haven for children who need it. And so to get to experience it in this way of raising money and great food and just feeling the love of our community had to be such a beautiful evening.
It was, and we had a very special moment at the end of the evening. Ruth Johnson, our president and CEO, is retiring at the end of the year, and the whole staff got up on stage and celebrated her amazing 17 years with a song, Lean on Me, and the whole audience got together and sang with us. It was so moving,
I could
so
not
appropriate.
Like, my eyes are almost watering now. I could not be there because I would have just cried.
It was just a special night all around.
You guys are just such a special organization in the way that sometimes people don't understand how hard these illnesses that can happen to children can be. And it's hard for the families, it's hard for the siblings, it's hard for the kids especially. And in the course of the last couple years, there's been a challenge with the mental health aspect of kids feeling isolated, but then to bring in a chronic illness to it of any kind makes it so much more challenging. So for people who do not know what Roundup River Ranch does here in our community, can you just give a brief overview?
You did such a good job. And really, when you speak to these last couple of years, we did a very strong pivot in 2020 to bring outreach programs, both Camp Online and alternative programs, to children that were experiencing more isolation and disconnected more than ever. So our outreach programs, which are year-round, we do over 35 programs like that. And then, of course, our residential and traditional camp experiences for kids 17 and under. And at this point, I think we're at 20 diagnoses, so we really serve a large population. And we look to grow that to really support the Rocky Mountain region the way we can.
Which is so incredible, because my biggest thing is when you're a kid, you should get to be a kid. And having a chronic illness is so challenging. And as we were speaking off camera, I told you a little bit about my family's personal experience with something like this. And it's a really hard challenge to get through and navigate, not only as a caregiver, but as a family member. And then, of course, just to keep the spirits high. And you guys do such an incredible job at doing that, that you make it possible for these kids to be struggling in other aspects, but be living their best childhood life as well.
It's that connectedness. You absolutely nailed it, because what we're finding is children with serious illnesses, they grow up fast. And that peer-to-peer connection is really what camp is all about. We often say we could do camp in a parking lot, because it's about children being together and really experiencing the joys of childhood through the simplest ways.
In the simplest of ways. And you guys just had an amazing camper who gave back to Roundup River Ranch with Lily's Sound Garden, and we're showing Lily playing some of the beautiful sounds up in the garden right now. And so tell us a little bit more about the Sound Garden.
Well, giving back and having a child do that with her Make-A-Wish gift was amazing. So Lily was able to choose any type of wish she wanted, and she selected to give her wish to Roundup River Ranch.
Wow.
So she worked with our program team.
I have goosebumps.
She's an amazing kid, and she worked with our program team to identify this sound garden, which is really an immersive area of nature and music and teaching children rhythm and tone. But the backdrop of it is to be a healing part of their camp experience. And it's an amazing thing. And for a child to do that just was such an amazing message to send.
It's absolutely incredible, and I feel like you guys, as an organization and as a whole, are bringing out the most incredible aspects of these children in these moments of true need for them. And so it literally, I have goosebumps right now as we're talking about it, and it just makes me so happy to know that you're here in our community. And so if people want to get involved, you have some other great fundraising opportunities where people here in our community can easily get involved in.
We just announced our public launch of our Roundup the Possibilities campaign in July. And really right now, we are looking to enlist supporters to help us reach our $27 million goal. It's all about our pillars of excellent sustainability and growth, and really looking at capital projects, our operating revenues, and our endowment to support the sustainability and growth that we know is needed in the Rocky Mountain region.
Which is incredible. And so this just launched. This is your big capital campaign. And then, of course, you've got other things like you guys do the Superheroes Are Everywhere, which is a ton of fun.
It is.
And then this year, my favorite one is coming back.
Well, I'm announcing Superhero Ski Day. We are looking to bring that back in 2023. We had to go on pause with the 2020 issues, but we really saw the community love this event where you can come out, raise money for the kids, dress in your favorite superhero costume, do adaptive skiing for our campers. It's all about giving back, and we're really looking forward to that.
These events just make my heart smile so big because they're one of those ones that you don't want to miss out on just because it's such a moment in our community to be involved and to be with the kids, and then of course to be out there skiing with just an abundance of wonderful people. I rode the chairlift the last year it was. I've bought a ticket every year even though it got stopped during COVID.
It did.
And I got to ride the chairlift with the most incredible people, and you just get to meet these people who have these stories that motivate you to be more involved and more hands-on in this activity and in this nonprofit here in our community. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you. And thanks to our volunteers, medical professionals. We could not do what we do without this community.
Kathy, I appreciate you so much coming in and giving us all this great information this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure that you check out Roundup River Ranch. That way you can get your hands on just maybe a taste of how incredible this community is, but how near and dear to everyone's heart this nonprofit is, only because it is absolutely one of my favorites here in the community. So make sure that you mark your calendars and you watch for that Superhero Ski Day because it is the greatest day of the year. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to take another look at that local weather forecast.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
This is Liz for TV8 Sunday Edition. It's a great day, and let me tell you something. We have so many wonderful members of the community, and our very own Gretchen, who you see here in the mornings, she got out to talk to Claire Noble of Eagle County, and they discussed so many wonderful things that are going on here in the community. You want to catch up? Take a look at this interview.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. I am all smiles this Monday because I'm with one of my favorite human beings. You all know who I'm going to say, the amazing Claire Noble. How are you doing, Claire?
Good, and it's good to see you back, although it was really heartwarming to see the photos from your family vacation.
Thank you so much. We were just saying off air, I needed that. It was so good for my soul just to be with my mom and dad on the water, but yeah. I missed the Good Morning Vail team. I really did. I think I wrote Maddie probably 18 texts when I was And I would like to say Claire and I did not. We're twinning out right now. This was not planned. We're just on the same vibe.
And we both saw the temperature this morning
yes,
in the 40s.
I know.
It's amazing this time of year to have this 30-degree range.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So a couple things happened over the weekend that I wanted to mention.
Yes, yep.
And that is that Interstate 70 in our vicinity closed completely.
I heard about this.
So on Saturday, we had a commercial vehicle catch fire between Eagle Vail and Avon westbound lanes, closed for hours.
And was that later on in the day?
It was late in the afternoon.
I knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Interstate 70 westbound again closed between Vail Pass and East Vail.
Oh, wow.
And then later in the day, there was actually a closure just west of Dotsero.
Oh, wow.
And so
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
You know, we're in this narrow valley.
Right.
There's not a lot of ways to get through that valley.
Oh, I know.
And so it's a big deal when Interstate 70 closes. So what I want to urge people to do is sign up for EC Alert.
Yes.
Visit ecalert.org, sign up, and then also download the app to your phone, the Everbridge app. And when you sign into the Everbridge app on your phone, you use the same login credentials.
Okay.
So these are linked. So
Okay.
you'll get the emails, but you'll also get the phone depending on where you're at.
It's so important too.
Yeah,
because
so you're not that person sitting on
there.
I-70 wondering, is this going to be 3 minutes? Is this going to be 3 hours? Yeah.
And now, especially with the price of gas as well, I was talking to one of my friends that this happened to, and as you can see up here, we'll just say c.gov, that's funny, cotrip.org, but it's so important because with the price of gas, I know a lot of us are half tanks right now, not able to pay for the full tank, and then if you're sitting there, and you turn off your car for a little bit, you don't know when you're going to move, but still running out of gas is definitely, it's happened to a few, not me, I'm not saying me, but a few of us. So, and it is so important. I get the alerts all the time and it really helps. It really, really helps.
Absolutely. Because the other thing is last week we had a tremendous amount of rain.
Yeah.
On Monday, we were driving through Dow Junction, and there was standing water on the interstate. And at one point, we hit one of these puddles, and for several seconds there, we couldn't see anything but the water around us. And you're traveling 20, 30 feet during that time.
That's scary.
I'm really surprised there wasn't an accident there during that day.
I've had that happen too. And you just feel so helpless because you can't see. A lot of times, at least for me, and I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's so hard to maneuver around when you hit that water or snow, which we'll probably be getting pretty soon.
Absolutely.
Ice, etc. But no, it is so important, especially if you're planning a trip. So often now, especially with Glenwood Canyon, like we were just saying, it closes a lot,
Right, and I think there's a little bit of misinformation out there about Glenwood Canyon.
Let's hear
where
about
people
this.
will say, I saw something online where somebody's like, "Why is the canyon closed?" And somebody responded, "Oh, they always close it when it rains." That's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
What happens is when the National Weather Service issues a flash flood warning, not a watch, but a warning.
Okay.
Then CDOT, out of precaution, closes the canyon.
Okay.
And then when the warning is lifted and they go back to a watch, then they open it back up. They do a sweep, make sure nothing slid during that time.
Okay.
But then they open it back up.
That's so good to know because I saw the exact same post and I was meant to go. And it messes people up if you're getting misinformation because I ended up not going because I was like, I don't want to sit there for a bit.
Yes.
CDOT, I should have.
So sign up for EC Alert. What I like to say is when we know, you know. It's not like we're holding on to information.
Right.
We really want the public to know so you can plan, so you don't, ruin your day sitting on the interstate.
Well, and you keep us all so safe too because it is. I mean, people don't realize driving in the mountains is no little feat, whether with all the elements, I think. Even during summer, everyone's like, oh, it's a breeze. Not always. Like the water situation, we have last week so much rain, like you said, and things like that easily can come, and then you have an accident, and it's you get it.
I mean, we had rain last week, and I catch myself sounding like a repeating record. I'm like, was this in the forecast? Was this
I know
because some of it takes you by surprise, and that's we both have jackets on this morning, because there's going to be a 30-degree temperature swing today.
I know,
and so people, especially people visiting, they kind of don't realize that that's going to happen. So we're talking about the change in seasons. I'm going to change course here a little bit.
Yes.
Because this time of year, people are looking for oftentimes new accommodations. Yes. Perhaps they've been one place over the summer, but now they need to find a new place. And so I wanted to let people know that Eagle County Housing offers rental assistance.
Huge, because I know this is a big thing right now in the Valley. Everyone's getting a little nervous. Lots of my friends are dealing with it. So yes, that's okay.
So what they offer is, well, oftentimes when you're moving into a new place, you need to do first and last month's rent and security deposit. That's a hefty chunk of money.
A lot, yes.
And so what the county is offering are 2 months of basically the equivalent of 2 months rent.
Wow.
And depending on what your income level is, it's either a grant or a loan.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nudge to help you to get into an apartment.
Yes. That's huge because honestly, I mean, right now with all of us, we're all feeling the effects of the economy, et cetera, and that's a big deal because I know so many of my friends, you can't do that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. That's like not eating for a little while. Let's be honest. So that's great. And where can people go again to
boldhousingmoves.com.
Boldhousingmoves.com. That's
Yes.
huge because I have the buzz around the valley right now, and not to be, I know it's Monday, we'll stay positive, but it is something that's real and it's seen throughout the country, not just here. So how amazing that people can go and get help, because there's a lot of people that need that right now.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think it is kind of, we were talking off camera, it is a little scary for people, longtime locals that have lived here forever, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm meant to do. So thank you.
Well, good news for people looking for homes, maybe not as much for people trying to sell a home, is we're hearing that the market is starting to cool a little bit.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, you have to balance that with slightly higher interest rates.
I know.
It's, you know, there's never a perfect time.
No.
But we have programs to help home buyers as well.
Okay.
And we have programs for homeowners. If you're an empty nester, you've got some extra space,
Right.
and you're thinking, maybe I can convert this into a lock-off, we've got a program that helps people
That's so
with
interesting.
money they'll need to upgrade that place. You know, some neighborhoods require 2 points of egress or
I was
a
just about to
parking spot. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I love you, Claire. She's always, before I have to ask questions, you're right on the ball, right on the money. Do you know some of the different things that, as far as you have to have this or that to be able to have a
It
lock-off?
depends on the homeowners
It does.
association.
Okay,
So
okay.
you really need to check.
You have to check with it.
You
Okay.
really do. And then of course you still have to comply with county coding.
100%,
Yeah.
okay.
So, but the thing is, a lock-off, it provides income.
Right.
It oftentimes improves the value of your home, and it helps
Interesting.
gently increase density without putting up new buildings.
See, and I wouldn't think about, that's interesting. That makes complete sense. And so often I feel like so many of the homes here are set up for something like that, where there is a different area.
Yes.
Or, you know.
Well, think about it. A lot of homes were built when families were bigger.
Right.
And families have gotten so much
Much
smaller.
smaller,
I
yep.
mean, I'm the youngest of 7. They just
Oh
don't
my
build families
goodness.
like that
Oh my
anymore.
goodness.
But, you know, most people are 1, 2 kids, but now they have all these extra bedrooms.
Yes. Well, no, and that's so true, because I think of the mother-in-law situation,
Yeah.
even I had never heard about that until just recently, but so many of the homes were made for, like you said, families to come and live together.
Yes.
And so that's, well, Claire, as always, you brighten up all of our Mondays. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to?
Just one last thing,
Yeah, of
really
course.
quick. We actually have a partnership with CSU, Colorado State University Extension. It's part of their community engagement. They offer a lot of different programs. Their Master Gardener program, super popular.
Oh, that's neat.
Right now they've got a soil and grazing program.
Okay.
But they also just opened up applications for the Family Leadership Institute.
Oh, cool.
It's follows the school year, so it's going to start in October, run through May.
Okay.
It's a weekly commitment, a weekly class every Monday night. There's also some day-long retreats, visit to the Capitol. But what this is geared for is people who want to take a leadership role in their community. They want to be change agents. This
Awesome.
program teaches leadership skills, working with the media,
Wow.
public speaking,
Neat.
and it's a wonderful program. And so to find this, go
Right.
to eaglecounty.us,
Okay.
and under departments, you'll see CSU Extension. You go there, and you'll find all the information about the Family Leadership Training Institute.
That's amazing. I just adore you. Thank you, Claire, for everything you do for our community, truly. I feel like this, yeah, you should be the mayor, I feel. You're amazing. Well, we can't wait to see you next time, and keep it right here. We have a lot more on Good Morning Vail. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Get up, get ready to start your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring or fall, you're home in the rocket that has it all, y'all. So get up, get ready to start your day. The coffee is brewing and you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good morning, Vail. Good morning, Vail.
Thank you so much for joining us for your Sunday edition of Good Morning Vail right here at TV8. I'm your host, Liz. It's been a wonderful week, and we have so many more great things coming up ahead. Tomorrow is Labor Day. I hope you have really wonderful plans. Maybe you want to get on over to Gourmet on the Gore. We also have the Vail Duck Races going on, of course, Oktoberfest, and the Vail Farmers Market. Whatever you choose to do, I know you're going to have a wonderful weekend because we provide so much entertainment for you guys right here in our own backyard. Get out, enjoy the beautiful weather, walk along the river, and have a great experience no matter what you do. Labor Day is coming up tomorrow. Make it fun, make it safe, make it magical, and just spread the love, spread the joy, and welcome to fall, everybody. This is Liz having a great week with you guys. I'll see you again during the week. Gretchen and Maddie and myself and Kevin, we all wish you a happy Labor Day from all of us right here at TV8.
Good morning, Vail. See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see